Service, and we're trying to take your picture over here. There you go. And you just made our night by being here tonight, so thank you again. Next, we're going to hear about one student's journey. St. Green Valley School strives for academic excellence by design in all that they do. The goal is for every student to reach their highest potential as a result of their school experience. Aabriri Shrestha, a senior at Skyline High School, is ranked number 3 in her class with a grade point average of 4.256. She's lettered in academics all 4 years of high school, is a member of the National Honor Society, has been part of the school's basketball, softball, and track field teams, and was chosen as a semifinalist for the Women's Foundation of Colorado Girls Leadership Council. Her experience with STEM education and the Innovation Center has resulted in her becoming an Apple Certified Mac Technician, a video production coordinator, a student designer, a professional development team lead, and a course development coordinator. I haven't even accomplished that in all of my years. And in her spare time, she's also a dancer, most recently with production company Dance Center. Aabriri is described by her teachers as multifaceted, passionate, and artist, driven, competitive, and confident. Well-spoken and outspoken, she has met with CEOs and others as a representation of the kind of world-class educational opportunities where students in the St. Green Valley schools can thrive. Please help me welcome Aabriri Shrestha.
That was embarrassing. Good evening, everybody. You heard this already, but my name is Aabriri Shrestha. I'm a senior at Skyline High School, and this is my 4th year in the STEM program. So tonight, I'm going to tell you a story. Some of you may have heard this story before, but that's okay. Just act like you haven't. This story is about 2 brothers who lived on adjoining farms. One day, they had a fight. It was the first serious fight in 40 years of farming side by side. The long collaboration fell apart. It began with a small misunderstanding, and it grew into a major difference, and finally, it exploded into an exchange of bitter words followed by weeks of silence. One morning, there was a knock on the elder brother's door. He opened it to find a man with a carpenter's toolbox. "I'm looking for a few days' work. Perhaps you would have a few small jobs here and there. Could I help?" the carpenter asked. "Yes," said the older brother, "I do have a job for you. Look across the creek at that farm. That's my neighbor. In fact, it's my younger brother. Last week, there was a meadow between us, and he took his bulldozer to the river, and now there's a creek between us. Well, he may have done this to spite me, but I'll go him one better. See that pile of lumber by the barn? I want you to build me a fence, an 8-foot fence, so I won't need to see his place anymore." The carpenter said, "I think I understand the situation. Show me the nails in the post hole digger, and I'll be able to do a job that pleases you." The older brother had to go to town for supplies, so he helped the carpenter get the materials ready, and then he was off for the day. The carpenter worked hard all that day, measuring, sawing, nailing. Around sunset, when the farmer returned, the carpenter had just finished his job. The farmer's eyes opened wide and jaw dropped. There was no fence there at all. It was a bridge stretching from one side of the creek to the other. A fine piece of work with handrails and all, and the neighbor, his younger brother, was coming across, his hand outstretched. "You are quite the fellow to build a bridge after all I've said and done. The two brothers stood at either end of the bridge, and then they met in the middle, taking each other's hand. They turned to see the carpenter hoist his toolbox on his shoulder. "No, wait, stay a few days. I have a lot of other projects for you," said the older brother. "I'd love to stay on," the carpenter said, "but I have many more bridges to build." If you're wondering why I told this story tonight, it is obviously because of all of the structural engineering involved. Jokes aside, however, this story holds a lot of relation to the STEM program. For those of you that don't know, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, and it is a program designed to give students experience in such fields. So let's say the carpenter is the STEM program. The older brother, then, are all of us students enrolled in the STEM program. The younger brother is the future. Now, I'm not trying to say that we're fighting with the future or living on farms or anything like that. The real point here is that STEM builds the bridge from students to the future. In fact, maybe, in a sense, we are fighting with the future. As a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids being told to decide what we want to be doing with the rest of our lives right now, of course we are going to fight with our futures. Most of us have no idea what we should eat for lunch. Forget knowing what our future holds. But the carpenter, STEM, will build the bridge and bring us hand in hand with our futures. Speaking of futures, let me tell you a little about mine, since I'm fortunate enough to have figured out where my life is headed for the time being. After graduating, I'm planning on heading to CU Boulder for a major in critical media practices and a possible minor in computer science. Wait a minute, neither of those is classified as engineering. Correct. Here I am, though, still in the STEM program. Even going into a field that is not labeled engineering, I will still utilize science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM has become such an interdisciplinary field that nearly every job out there will involve aspects of it. Except maybe politicians, but trust me, I'm not looking into politics. STEM, in this day and age, is the bridge to a brighter future in almost every field students decide to go into. It is also the bridge to opportunity. Without the STEM program, I would have never found my current employer, the Innovation Center. Not too many teenagers are able to say that they have worked with 3D printers and laser cutters, sat at conference tables with huge companies, worked with real producers to create films, and above it all, been able to work with the greatest bosses and coworkers ever. I mean, I'll take it. Working at the IC has been the greatest experience I have ever had. I mean, look where I am now speaking to all of you people up at the podium. I'm standing at the same podium the superintendent of my school district will be speaking at. No pressure though, right? The Innovation Center is building, pun intended, a brighter future for students. Now it's time for some bragging that you might have already heard. I am an Apple Certified Mac Technician, a certification offered through a course called Tech 2 that I took at the Innovation Center through Skyline. That means that when I turn 18, I will be able to work in Apple stores as a genius. Being able to have a nearly guaranteed job after graduating is pretty cool. Until then, though, I work in a tech lab at the IC, repairing Mac computers from the district or from independent clients. So if you ever need a computer repaired, I got it. Along with being a huge techie nerd, I also lead a media team. This has been a huge opportunity for me since this is what I'm looking to pursue in the future. I've had the chance to work with producers to make short videos for events like Longmont Startup Week. On top of that, sorry, the bragging is almost over, I get to host a radio show called Tech Talks with my best friend broadcasted on a local Boulder radio station. So working at the Innovation Center isn't so bad. It's actually the best. And without STEM, I would have never found the IC. STEM has taught me far more than just some school subjects. It's taught me about teamwork, It's taught me about problem solving. It's taught me about time management. But most importantly, it's taught me about the many uses for popsicle sticks and hot glue guns. The letters in STEM should not discourage anybody, because STEM is more than science, more than technology, more than engineering, and more than mathematics. It is a carpenter. It is a carpenter building a bridge for students to connect to their futures. STEM has opened so many doors in my life and secured a better future for myself. Applying to it was one of the best decisions my mom has ever made for me. It's her birthday, by the way. I made 25. Happy birthday, Mom. On that note, my journey is slowly coming to an end, but at the same time, it is just beginning. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. Thank you all for listening, and have a great rest of your evening.